episode 17 of Anime and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is the review show that reviews anime from A to Z, sort of.
Alright, guys. So, last episode, we spun the wheel for Category O and got One Piece. The epic One Piece. Ichiro Oda? People just call him Oda. I probably tore up his first name. But it's been serialized in shounen since 1997, weekly. Now, and they very rarely skip it. I don't think Oda's had too many breaks. He's been pretty consistent with pumping these out, which is absolutely insane how big it is. Over 20 years.
Yeah.
That's fucking nasty. I'm not going to go with when the anime and all that came out. The manga is more important.
I guess he doesn't have any other stories to tell, huh?
Yeah, I don't think he's written anything else, to be honest. I really don't.
Alright, so first thing off the bat, there's fireworks going on in the background.
Yeah, we're not doing this on the 4th, but it's a few days after. My neighbors are a little overzealous.
So if you hear fireworks, that's what that is. Anyway, so this one took us a little while to do because we didn't do 26 episodes.
Yeah, but at the same time, we didn't do the 841 that are out at the moment.
No, we did 130 episodes, which is kind of ridiculous. But
yeah, it's pretty long. But, so I've seen most of one. I've actually seen all of One Piece. I felt like the end of the Croc arc would have been a good place to stop and get a good feel for the entire story. I thought the end of the Croc arc was like 50, 60 episodes in.
Nope.
Not 130.
Yeah, no, and this is my first experience with One Piece because it was 800 episodes when I looked at it and I was like, there's no way I'm going through 800 episodes. I can't even devote time to 26 episodes.
And what's nuts is we're still missing 2 of the current crew members, Frankie and Brooke. So that's still crazy. Like, we're 130 episodes in and we're still missing 2 of the main characters.
Yeah, well, see, I, not going into this, I don't know who's sticking around and who's not a lot of time. So who knows which.
Everyone, I don't give a damn. Spoilers. Don't watch, well, I mean, I guess our whole show's a spoiler.
Yeah.
But everyone in the main crew sticks around. No one's died yet in the main crew. Under Luffy.
That's not what I meant. When they finally get to the Grand Line and then Vivi joins the crew for, 40 episodes, and then she's gone, and she's she even gets her own little wanted poster thing.
Yeah.
So it's so I just assume, okay, I guess this is a permanent cast member, and then she stops being a permanent cast member. So I was like, I guess not. So, I mean, that's what.
Well, I mean, when she joined the crew, it was under the assumption that she's going to go to the Alabasta. Actually,
that's one of my problems with this show. No one dies in this show.
And we're not.
That's true. And we're not even watching because I heard there's a Funimation dub of this. We're watching the actual.
Oh, is there a fun? I didn't know there was 2
dubs. Justin, our friend Justin that we work with, told me that there's a Funimation dub where Sanji, he doesn't have a cigarette and he's got a lollipop.
Oh yeah, I think that's more of an edit. I don't think the dub is different. I think that's just an edit for TV that Funimation did.
Well, that's what I mean. That would be a Funimation dub essentially because that's a different company doing it.
I'm pretty sure it's still Funimation. This is more of the uncut episodes because of all the people, all the voice. I don't know. I'm just saying I'm pretty sure because all the voice actors are exclusive to Funimation.
Right. Now I got you, but it's the one for kids.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, that is odd. So he has a smoking cigarette, which is awesome.
Yeah. So and there's blood and stuff in it, but no one.
Not excessive blood, to be fair.
But no one dies.
Yet.
I got
It's very happy-go-lucky in the beginning. That's something that I noticed
in the beginning. It's 130 episodes.
Well.
It's no longer the beginning.
This is the beginning. Right? There's a beginning, a middle, and end for every story. This is still the beginning, considering how big it is.
Okay, it's in the beginning if you consider at that point. But even with the number of episodes, we're about 10% in. It's no longer the beginning.
No, because so we're talking about the whole story, and the whole story hasn't been released yet. We know there's still a lot left.
Right.
So you're not really you're probably still in the first 10%.
Well, even so, it's not the first 1%. We're past the beginning, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, all right. No, I don't think so, but all right.
So since this is so long and stuff, we're gonna have to take this a little bit part by part. Yeah. So we can't just really do an overview.
Well, in the very beginning, in the very beginning of the first 130 episodes, right? The first 20 or 30 or 40 or whatever. It is very, very happy-go-lucky. We're just here to have fun. And it's, I mean, I think that was Oda realizing how big this is going to be, so he was advertising to the younger audience because he knows this is going to grow with it, right?
Right.
We're still nowhere near done, and it's 20-some years later.
Well, I get that, and I didn't have a problem with it. There's a few problems that I have in the beginning, like, first 10 episodes, but it's a lot more shonen problems than One Piece problems. And I actually liked the fact that he was going through and just collecting people who he thinks is things. Like, so, like, the first 2 episodes, he's just fighting some random pirate chick. Who you think he gets rid of, but she comes back like
that was really interesting.
70 episodes later,
quite a few pirates,
and that's what I
back.
Really like about the show because every character kind of comes back.
Speaking about that, one of the first bad guys when they met Sanji, and we're jumping around a little bit here, sorry, but just so I don't forget, the guy he's a Marine guy and he's with his girl, and Sanji's like,
he comes
back at the end of the 130 episodes. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he comes back. I actually watched past the 130.
I know you did.
I got to 161. So they're in.
So that tells you right there he liked it.
So I'm actually not really big on where I'm at right now because now they're up in the sky and the Skypiea and the
Skypiea is a little off. I'm not
a really good fan of it, but there's been a few characters that come back leading up to Skypiea, including that guy. He's part of the Marines, and the hypnotist from. Why is his name escaping me?
I know you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Longnose is.
He comes back. That's interesting.
Yeah, so he comes back as a Marine, and he's no longer a pirate.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah,
I don't remember that.
I like the go around and the stories that the characters that are introduced aren't just one and done. You can possibly see them again, like the kid from.
Very early on.
The really annoying kid that I was hoping would go away.
He's terrible.
But he comes back, he joins the Marines, and there's a whole story arc with him and the son of the first big antagonist. And there's like 4 episodes dedicated to them and the Marines, which is really
that
neat.
happens from time to time, and it still hasn't come to a head yet. You know what I mean? That's still happening. They're still training. One day, it's probably going to be towards the end. Maybe the final fight will be between the two of them. That'll be cool.
Yeah, so that's really cool. But so there's that first episode, and then of course. The first big arc is introducing Zoro and...
Zoro's cool shit.
Why are their names... I've watched 161 episodes. Why are their names escaping me? The girl.
Nami. Titties.
Yeah. Jesus.
Which is also really funny. So, like, it's probably about a little more than where we're at now. I guess, like, it's like, oh, okay, we're adults now. So they don't get naked, but, like, she's constantly in a bikini. A really tiny one. But it was really interesting not having seen the first few episodes since, I don't know, 2005. It was interesting to see the first few episodes and see that she's constantly wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Again, he was very smart, Oda. He was not over-sexualizing it for the young audience.
But the best part about that was there's a storyline reason for that. For her wearing the t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, the tattoo.
Yeah, so there was...
Yeah, there was a storyline reason, but even after her arc and figure out all that out...
I got you, and then...
She was still wearing it for the most part.
She starts going in the bikini...
a bit.
In the Grand Junction, and there's a storyline purpose for that too.
Yeah.
So,
well, look, what I'm saying is, eventually, there's no more storyline purpose, and it's just bikini all the time.
No, I got you. but in the beginning, it makes sense. So he's kind of like.
But like I said, it also contributes to him realizing that he's playing the long game.
Right.
So it shows his foresight.
Right. So then we get introduced to Zoro, and. That the Marines are bad guys too, which eventually they do show there's good guys and bad guys on all sides,
which is cool.
Which is also what I like. Like Smoke later on, he's pretty much a good guy.
Yeah. He
and
does
he's a Marine,
right.
So it's like, and he's you can tell there's corruption at the top of Marines.
Oh yeah.
But there are good Marines in the middle,
and well, even at the top, there are Marines that know there's corruption and all that, and this is stuff that's later on. But they're just so powerful that they follow the law even though they kind of know it's wrong.
Right. So, we get Zoro, and then Nami's, of course, been there since the first episode in the background, stealing stuff, so...
What Nami does.
That's what she does, yeah. So, that's one of my big problems with this series, though, is the character quirks that define the characters a lot of the times. Like, Nami is, like, money all the time.
That comes down. I hear what you're saying. Now, where we're at current, it's like non-existent.
But she's not even the worst of it. The worst one by far is Sanji with his
love. Well, I mean, that's kind of the comedy part, you know. It's a joke.
The obsessive...
Yeah, it's a bit much.
The obsessiveness of it, so much so that in some fights that cripples him.
Yeah, well, he's got to come over it. He's got to get over that.
So it's like, one of Croc's lieutenants, the shapeshifter, he wears Nami face, he can't hit him because he's wearing Nami face. It's kind of ridiculous that it's...
But then, like, in the middle of the fight, he's like, slap your face with your left hand, because that's how he switches his faces. And so he does it.
Yeah. So it's a little ridiculous. But, I mean, I like Nami. I do like Sanji.
I do like Sanji.
I do like Zoro.
Yeah, I think Zoro is probably my favorite character besides Luffy, and then Sanji's right after that. And then Nami, and Usopp can go fuck himself.
Fuck Usopp. Then we, after, because we get Zoro and Nami introduced to the crew after they fight Bogo the Clown, who was a pirate, which was, I like the different kinds of pirates and the seriousness between everything. And then we go into Usopp's storyline, which takes...
Oh, it took forever. Especially because it was so bad.
And it was so bad.
It felt like it took longer than it really did.
And the sad part is there's big storyline elements that, like, they get their ship there.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where they get to go and marry. It's given to pretty much Usopp from his girlfriend, who's not his girlfriend. That's a whole storyline. And he is just the worst character in this entire thing. I don't know.
He doesn't get much better even after the time skip. He gets a little stronger. I would say after the time skip, he's where Zoro and Sanji are at right now, in terms of strength. But he's still annoying as hell.
Yeah, well, he's annoying consistently from episode 1. So, and
one thing I thought was pretty funny in one of the recent episodes up to 130, where he got hit in the head with a bat or something, and you saw his entire skull fracture, and then his nose fractured. His long nose, apparently his cartilage in there, just shattered.
He gets his ass handed to him.
And he keeps getting back up. You see him getting a little bit stronger, a little bit by little bit.
Yeah, I know, but...
Even though he's a super coward, he still sticks around when it's important.
Well...
He still sucks. I hate him.
He's got to be dragged along a lot.
Did you see the Goonies reference? I don't want to forget.
Dude, you gotta be more specific. I don't know. Where was that?
It was in that fight I was just telling you about. I think it was after that fight.
Where he's fighting the baseball bat guy?
Yeah, they're in... I know they're in the desert, and he screams, "Hey, you guys!" That's a big Goonies reference.
Who,
Usopp said it.
Usopp said it? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, it happened. I was like, oh, look at that. That's interesting.
That fight took like 3 episodes, and it was... And don't get me wrong, because I like the whole desert fight scenes, because everybody was separated out.
That happened a lot.
So no one was standing around watching them fight and just talking on the sidelines as these two people.
It's honor. Come on.
No, it's bullcrap.
A lot of times,
perfect example. Go to Dragon Ball Z, where all the Z Warriors just watch 12-year-old Gohan fight Cell. No, it's stupid.
Goku told him no.
Yeah, it's stupid. Stupid.
They had to get Gohan to the next level.
I like that they each had their own separate fights, but I just didn't care. I don't care about Usopp, and of course, I don't care about Chopper either. He's just as
he's just another side. Well, I don't mind Chopper as much as Usopp. The flaw that you probably don't like is where if you compliment Chopper, he's like. He gets super embarrassed. He's telling you to go fuck yourself, but then he's like, "Get over here and sit down."
That's stupid.
I like that. That's always
stupid,
funny.
But that only comes up like 3 times.
Yeah, it doesn't come up very often.
It doesn't come up often. My annoyance is that he's so gullible. He believes Usopp's stupid stories, and it's just so annoying. Or he just believes everybody's story, and it's just like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me.
To be fair, he's a reindeer that can talk, so... Yeah. But he's also a doctor.
But he's a skilled medical doctor.
One of the most skilled in the world.
So I don't want to hear that. No, it's stupid. I don't care if he's a shape-shifting reindeer.
Yeah, I mean, he gets some power-ups here and there, because he those rumble balls.
Yeah.
He, makes them better, so he can get more transformations,
right.
But, he's not there to fight, really.
But, I got that. And, see, he didn't bother me. It didn't bother me that there's a shape-shifting reindeer, because, I mean, right from the start, they established the ridiculousness of the show. There's the fat pirate lady that turns thin in the end, and then there's the marine...
Smooth fruit.
The marine with the axe hand, the clown that you can chop to pieces, he can put himself back together. It's like...
It can get a bit ridiculous.
So it's the ridiculousness of it is part of it. So it's not so much that what he is as so much who he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I have my problems with the show, and some of it, like I said, it stems from the shonenness of it. But there's some problems with it just as One Piece. Like, we were talking about this off podcast, like last week. There's some really good, strong moments in...
Yeah, there are some very powerful moments.
Like, especially in Nami's arc.
Yeah, especially Nami.
Nami's arc when she's trying to get her family back. But there's one point where she's completely... like destroyed
emotionally,
because she's stealing to try to pay off the pirate who's conquered her town. She needs 100 million.
Yeah, she's trying to pay him off so he can leave.
So 100 million berries, and then she's close, and then he sends the Marines to confiscate her money so he can keep her as a slave.
Because she's a really, really good navigator. She's like the top tier, the best she can find.
And he even
wants to keep her.
The pirate was something like that.
Pirates.
Hercule, essentially.
Yeah, the voice actor Hercule.
Yeah, so he even tattoos her as one of his pirates, so he kind of owns her. And then she realizes she's never going to get out, and she breaks down, and Luffy comes up to her, and she's like, what are you still doing here? Because she was yelling at him to go away.
Like the past 10 episodes, like, leave, we don't want your help, get out of here.
I got this on my own, and she finally breaks down, and she says, Luffy, help me. And then he puts his hat on her head, and that's a powerful moment, and he starts walking away. And that was a great moment. But then they go and explain the whole situation. They flash back to him and how important the hat is there. Yeah. And then he says, we're friends! And it just ruined the entire moment.
My only reasoning for that is that, like I said, it's for most of this in the beginning, is for the younger audience.
I know, I got you.
So they have to explain some of that.
But
we don't need that, but I feel like the young kids
But they know how important Luffy's hat is to them.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but I feel like I'm not necessarily
I give kids more credit than...
I don't think you should.
I mean, if they're watching One Piece, they're gotta be at least a little bit up there, you know? Because it's not like
It's not all action all the time. Right. There is quite a bit of story and
and there's another powerful moment where he's fighting... I wish I could remember his name, the Fish King. It starts with an A-N. But, Luffy's fighting him. Arlong, yes. He's fighting him, and they end up in Nami's room where he was keeping her, and he realized this is her prison cell, and he starts...
Yeah, like, you could just sort of see it, like, it's all the stuff you need to be a navigator, and it's all the charts and everything, like, hundreds and hundreds of them.
And then Luffy just goes about destroying the room.
Yeah, it's another fantastic scene.
And it's like he's essentially freeing her from this captivity, and then they go and fucking explain what's happening again.
I feel like it's that I felt like needed way more explaining than the hat did. I feel like a lot of kids would have gotten that.
I get you, but they went a little overboard with the explaining of it. And it's like, they show flashbacks, and it's like...
There's a lot of flashbacks, I'd say, in the first 70-ish episodes. And they're so, like, flashbacks from the same episode.
Oh, I know. I was getting very Dragon Ball Z's vibes at one point, and I was like... This is not good. Thankfully, they finally started to tone them down, and only
they don't happen very often anymore.
When you use them when necessary, but man, it got frustrating at points. Mm-hmm. And another big problem I have was the extendedly long scenes to get through these fights. Sometimes,
I mean, they're just
up until Nami's arc. There are the moments where they're just standing there, like, watching the fight happen. I mean, granted, they're wounded and stuff like that, so it's a little more excusable, and Luffy's at the bottom of the ocean because he can't swim because he ate a devil fruit, apparently.
Yeah, devil fruits don't let you swim.
So there's that, they have that problem, but once you get past that arc, it kind of, everything smooths out from that, so... But it's rough waters for those first 50 or so episodes that I had a problem with. Like, and other than that, ever since then, I really haven't had much problems with it. Even, like, the filler stuff.
The filler stuff does get me, but that's just my personality. I hate filler.
Well, I like...
when you come across an episode in between arcs, and you just know this episode's going to end, there's no reason to watch it.
Well, there's, like... there was episodes in between, I don't remember exactly where, but before they get to the Grand Line and after they leave Nami... With how Bogo got his body back.
Yeah.
It's just about...
Semi-interesting, because then he does come back into the story a little bit after that.
And it introduces the first pirate that Luffy defeated in her new thin, sexy form when she was a fat person before, and then they all come together and
they sort of team up.
Those two team up, and they're going after Luffy, and then the Marines are after Luffy on the island, which is where Smoke's introduced, and all three sides are kind of fighting each other. So those kind of filler arcs are interesting.
They can be. I mean, I'd do without him. I would rather him just show up and explain it.
And you kind of need a couple episodes
to break things up.
To break things between things. Like, after, I forget which one it was, but after a certain arc, they did, like, an episode for each character. Like, there was one with Sanji where the kid fell off a marine boat and he had to go get him back to the kitchen, and he's teaching him how to cook and stuff. And it just kind of adds to the characters for sure. So it's not filler in that it's just there because they didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, it is filler for characters that probably need it.
Right. And
so how do you? So you brought up Smoker again. Luffy's nickname for him, Smokey.
Yeah.
Luffy almost always gives people nicknames. It's kind of like a trademark of his. It's hilarious and I love it. Do you like that?
I didn't notice.
You notice that? Yeah, he calls him Smokey all the time.
No, I didn't notice. I just... Because Luffy is just so aloof. And he's just like... Nothing he does surprises me. Because he could just snap in an instant and tear your head off. And then be distracted the next by a squirrel. And it's just like... It's like, okay.
It's one of those... This is a common
I'm not saying
shounen thing where it's like, hey, I'm the main character, and I'm relaxed and chill, and then you fuck with one of my friends, and I'll kill you.
Well, I don't actually mind Luffy's character. It's different from a lot of the other goody shonen characters. The only problem I really have is that they kind of portray all main shonen characters as asexual beings.
Yeah.
And
he's been towards the end there. He's been a little interested in Nami. Remember the spa? So her and, what's her name? The blue-haired chick? Vivi. They're in a spa, and all the guys are in the other spa, and there's one wall, of course, separating them. Well, the guys are peeking over the top.
Right.
And she goes, you want to look? It'll cost you, I don't know, 1,000,000 berries, whatever it was, and she flashes them.
Right.
And they all fall.
Well...
So, he is showing a little bit of interest, but towards the beginning to the middle of what we watched, he had zero interest in her, which is really odd because she is rather attractive for a character.
I don't know if it was interested in Nami as much as it was just urges, you could argue, because Vivi was in there too.
Well, not asexual, right?
Well, true.
But toward, like, to give you credit, like I said, about halfway to where we watched, he showed zero interest in her.
But at the same time, you watch Dragon Ball Z, and you look at Goku, and he's kind of asexual, even though he's got a wife and kids. He shows no interest in his
Not
wife.
That this is a Dragon Ball podcast, but we could get into that, and that's a Saiyan issue. If you read the guidebooks, Saiyans aren't really interested in women. The only time they ever have sex is literally to procreate, because they have to for their race. They're just not interested in the females.
Okay, I guess if you want to go that way, but you want to go even further.
That's what it says. I didn't make it up.
We can even go into it. Even with Naruto, even with his interest in Sakura.
Yeah, and then Hinata's all over him, and she's clearly attractive for, a female anime character.
And even though Naruto supposedly has a crush on Sakura, and it's like, I mean, I only got 100 episodes in the Shippuden, so I don't know past that. But they all come off as asexual beings.
Yeah.
And it's just like... I mean, it works for Luffy's character because of how strange he is.
Yeah, he's a bit odd.
But it just seems like a shonen trope to me. It's
it really is.
You can be a hero and still be...
It really is. I did like that Sanji isn't like that overly. He's the opposite end of the spectrum.
Well, that's my problem.
Zoro's somewhere in the middle.
See,
he's probably the only one that's somewhere in the middle.
That's my problem. They have one extreme to the next extreme. Why can't they just be normal?
Well, that's what I'm saying, Zoro. Zoro's the one.
What? Well,
he was interested in a girl, and then he's probably going to be interested in this pirate girl, or not the marine girl, not the pirate girl, under Smokey.
Well, actually, I'm not getting it. I got further than you in this, so... what I'm getting is, and don't spoil it for me because I'll eventually continue watching this, but he seems to be interested in Robin. The hand
you know
girl.
what? I don't even remember.
The hand girl?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't even remember if that goes anywhere.
So, yeah, they two seem to be really working off each other, and that's what it seems to be leading with me. And yeah, it does make sense that he would like the swordsman girl because...
She reminds him of his...
But that seems kind of weird.
That's definitely odd. He's constantly like, do something with your face, and she's like, what the hell? It's my face.
So, I don't think that's a good basis for a relationship, but whatever. To each their own with that.
Do you like it?
It's probably my favorite of the shonens.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can agree with that. It's got more consistent storyline than Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z probably has better fight scenes. But the consistent story that's constantly inclusive and changing and bringing things back from the past and not retconning things.
It's just written better.
It's written a lot better.
Then that's what you're going to hook me with is the writing.
Naruto's written really good, but... I don't know. No, I mean, especially in Shippuden, there's a lot that comes back, but there's just so much filler in Naruto.
My problem with Naruto, aside from the filler, is that Sasuke and Naruto thing has been going on for 400 episodes, and they still haven't been going. I don't know, like I said, I only got 100 episodes in, but they spent 100 episodes just getting to the point where he sees Sasuke again, and it's just like, we're not doing a Naruto review, this is One Piece, but honestly, when you're doing one of these shows, it's a shonen.
A lot of them are your mirrors of each other.
It's a shonen review. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the first opportunity we really had to
do a proper shonen, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, there's, what's the other big one for
Bleach?
Bleach. So, Bleach apparently is the other one that I have not seen.
That one's got a really good story, too. There's depth to it that a lot of shonens lack. Like, I'm sorry, I love Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball has no depth.
Right now.
It's just not there.
So, would you consider...
It could be,
Would you consider something like Yu Hakusho a shonen?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a shonen.
Because that one's pretty decent, too. And I heard the other Hunter x Hunter is really good,
Hunter x Hunter is fantastic.
So, but again,
one of my favorites.
I haven't seen those, so...
Yeah, hopefully we get it on H.
So, you had a question you wanted to ask.
Oh, yeah, so, one... I like I always ask, I want to know your point scale, not as a shonen, but just as an anime. And then before we do that, too, probably should have done that backwards. Who's your favorite character with Luffy included? And then who's your favorite character without Luffy? Is Luffy your favorite character in the show? He is for me. Most protagonists are my favorite, to be honest. I mean, that's kind of the point of the show. I
tend to lead towards the female protagonist myself.
Yeah. Nami is a strong female protagonist.
So I think she is unobjectively my favorite, but I think it's a tie between her and Luffy as if just objectively speaking, the character written, because her whole arc really won me over with her, and like just the powerful scenes between her and Luffy.
Yeah, some of the best writing in the show.
It's really was some of the, and it hasn't been as strong since then. The stuff with Vivi is actually pretty strong too. With her and the princess, just them introducing her as a villain in the Grand Junction, and then her slow development as becoming part of the team was really good character development. So
mine's probably Luffy. Without Luffy, either Zoro or Sanji. Probably Zoro, but they're just really cool guys. I like them a lot.
Well, I like Zoro too, and he's really the straight man in a bunch of crazy.
Yeah.
Craziness. Yeah. I mean, of course, he's got his quirks. He's always sleeping and he doesn't have no sense of direction. But
which is hilarious. So, like, later on in the show, there's something called haki that certain characters in the world can get. It's very rare to get. It's, like, the king's power is what it's called. Well, Luffy gets all different kinds of haki, I believe. And Zoro, I don't remember all the different ones he gets, but he gets directions haki. He really shouldn't have that.
Right, no. Because he gets lost more than Luffy does, and it's like...
It's a joking point where some of the Marines were even, because they were sort of helping each other, some of the Marines in the recent arc was like, go this way, you jackass. We know you don't have any direction sense, but this is the wrong way.
And they all have character flaws, which is nice, but...
Yeah, no one's really perfect.
And they're pirates, first and foremost. Like, they save a city, and then they get kicked out of that city, so it's like... They're not really heroes either.
Yeah.
I mean, they just have a moral code, essentially.
Mm-hmm. So, and most pirates don't follow that.
No.
So when they encounter other pirates...
I don't think...
There's quite a few that are decent pirates. You'll find them later.
I mean, I'm assuming Shanks...
Yeah. I mean, we still don't really know too much about Shanks. But yes, he would be one of them.
Right. I mean, I literally just caught an episode that finally had him in it. Like, last 2 episodes ago, and I'm 160 episodes in, and I've seen them like twice beforehand.
Yep.
So
it's just so big they can't put all the good stuff in right now. They really can't.
And then there's...
So like when you first meet Smokey, I brought this up to him off the podcast before. You actually meet Luffy's father.
Right.
Like, they don't tell you that until, like, another 200 episodes.
And we got introduced to his brother in this.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you that. Can I ruin something for the series for you?
Okay.
It's a big moment.
Like,
story-wise, it's a huge moment.
I mean, I guess.
All right, so if you don't want to hear of a huge moment about halfway through the show, stop listening for the next 2 minutes. When Ace dies, it's a huge, powerful moment. So they do get back to those powerful moments. That's all I really wanted to say. They're just few and far between because there's so many episodes.
Well, no, I got you, and I figured there would be.
So there is a point where that does happen, and the way it's done is great. It's fantastic.
I'm assuming that everything picks up to where everybody loves it after the time skip.
Where what?
Where to the point where everybody's loving the show and like explains like what they really love is after the time skip.
What do you mean by what they really love?
Like the biggest perks about the show. Like
what do you mean by? Okay, I got you.
Like
by the people that watch it.
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So the people, well, I'm assuming
the time skip ups everyone's strength and it really pushes the story forward.
Right. So I'm assuming that's where most of the strongness of the series comes from.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't get there yet, and I don't know how many episodes it takes to get there.
Yeah, the time skip happens because everyone under the Straw Hats, but mainly Luffy, realize that they're nowhere near strong enough to continue what they're doing.
Right.
Right. They're teetering on the edge. So he's like, all right, 2 years, whatever. He got a tattoo and like put it through the newspapers, and like all the Straw Hats saw and realized that's what they have to do. Well, but it was like 2 years or something like that, and they had to go train for 2 years.
Yeah, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know when that was.
Yeah. Which is fine, but that's part of a really, really big emotional part in the show.
Right, and they did that in Naruto too. Everything got pushed forward and shipping it as it would.
Well, I like this because the time skip wasn't too big. It was just enough to up everyone's power, because you got to think they're training day in, day out.
They are about a bit out of their depths.
Yeah, which you realize that earlier than now, actually.
Yeah.
Arlong, Luffy was getting his ass kicked for a good part of that fight.
They all got their asses kicked.
This fight with
a part of
Croc, he lost twice. He nearly died.
He nearly died twice, yeah. And Zoro's trying to cut through everything.
Well, that's what I actually really like, is that you actually see Zoro getting stronger before the time skip.
Right.
Like, he felt the vibrations and was able to cut through steel. So that was really, really cool. They didn't have to do a time skip to power him up a little bit. Now, there is a certain point before the time skip where you see Luffy get powered up, too. There's a whole arc for that.
Right.
So that's also interesting.
And they even show Nami getting smarter and being able to defend herself.
More tactfully.
So it makes sense, and it's funny. They call Luffy the captain, but she's kind of really the captain.
Yeah, no. If she says to do something, she does it.
So
it happens.
It's a nice little balance of everything. They all kind of work well off of each other. It's a really good show. I like it. Which to my detriment, because I really don't have the time to invest into a show.
You know what I think would be neat is if we just keep watching a few episodes here and there, and then we'll do a random podcast at the end of one of our alphabets. Yeah, and just do an update.
I mean,
maybe it's 100 episodes later.
I was going to continue watching it regardless.
That's what I was thinking. I figured you would be because you kind of like it.
Yeah. So I mean.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll hit. You're at 160.
Yeah.
Maybe when he hits 300, we'll record another one and drop it in between. Something like that. We'll figure it out.
Once I get through a bigger arc or something.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
At the time skip, we'll do it then.
Yeah, whenever that is.
500 episodes later, who knows?
Well, it's dubbed, right? This time skip?
Yeah, it's dubbed way past that.
And there's like 534 dubbed episodes.
Oh, maybe it's not way past that. I don't know. But it's past it for sure.
So, I mean, there is like 534 dubbed episodes. I know there's 862 released or something like
overall,
that. What is the release schedule for dubbing?
Weekly. It's weekly. It's not something that has a season. It's just every week there's a new episode. Now, I don't know about dub.
That's what I'm asking.
With dub, there is seasons. They'll do like one arc and like dub it and put it out. But I don't know how often it is. Whether they do it once a year.
Yeah. Because I mean,
it doesn't air, which I think is an issue for the dub. You know what I mean? It's not like it airs on Toonami or whatever. So I think that's an issue because there's no real push to get it done immediately.
Right. No, I got you. But that's my biggest thing. I like the show, but I don't like it enough to watch it subbed. So
I catch up to it then.
So that's what I was just curious about when it would be released in the dubs and stuff like that.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we don't do enough research when we go into this.
So what's your point scale?
I'd say this is probably the best show we've watched so far. I mean, Eden of the East was actually really good too.
Yeah.
So it's at 8.85, definitely. Yeah.
Wow, that's really high for a shonen. I like that.
I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about my previous scores, and I gave like that Samurai one like a 7. So,
well, I think it's also, obviously we have some issues with it, but it's also like your enjoyment. If you really enjoyed it, then you gotta give it a nice score.
My scores are kind of based on how they view score video games. Video games, a 7 is kind of good. Mm-hmm. Anything below that's crap. And then 8 is decent, and 9's like really good, and 10's like the best you can get. So this is...
What did we give Eden?
An 8.
Yeah?
I gave it an 8.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I would say around that too. That's a really good score. We're usually near each other on scores. Rarely are we off a bit, but it does happen.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy One Piece so much that I'm caught up on it.
Right.
I like it a lot.
And like I said, this is probably the best shonen that I've watched. Cause like
I could probably agree with that.
Because like if I was to give Naruto a score, it'd be like a 7-ish. Mm-hmm. So
that's fair. I might even go lower, to be honest.
Well, it depends on which one you're watching.
Just so much filler in
filler,
it. I hate. But Naruto does bad filler. It's filler that means nothing.
But if you're talking about the filler, like after the main story's done in the original series, all those arcs after that are considered filler before Shippuden, they kind of advance stories.
They do, but like for instance, we really shouldn't be talking about this right now. What's his name? The lightning guy with the eye patch. He has the.
I know who you're talking about.
The teacher.
The Keiji.
I don't know. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, so like they have his story arc for his background, his filler, which is fine. But then throughout Shippuden, there's like 5 more segments giving him so much more backstory that's not needed. You already gave it. You should have done it all at once. I don't need all this. It's the reason why they were doing it. I know because I was watching it every week as it came out. Was because they caught up to the manga. Right. So every couple chapters they would catch up and make a new episode, and then they would need to put 3 or 4 more new filler episodes in, and it was horrible.
No, I got you. I get you, and that's why this would rate lower than One Piece. But it's still not completely terrible and useless filler. Like if you watch a TV show and there's episodes in a TV show that there's like, why am I even watching this episode? It's pointless.
I feel like that's how a lot of filler is. I don't need it. I want the main story. Give me it, and then make a side season.
But my point is, the side stories are stories within themselves in animes.
Yeah, I don't want them.
But and like a regular TV show, there will just be a contained episode that really just has its own story that you don't really need to watch, and that's the difference between anime. And
I guess I would agree that the filler in anime is better. But it's still something I don't really care for. I would rather they just make the story and then, all right, so this is a really cool character you all like. Well, here's one whole season dedicated to him.
Well, but you I don't know why.
So you can learn.
I don't know why I'm arguing on the side of this, but
we love taking opposite ends of arguments.
But if they're creating an anime and they're following a manga, you really can't.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the filler from manga to anime, like I was just saying with Naruto. Naruto's the biggest example of it, but it does happen in a lot of them. It's not in the manga.
Well, I know, but my point is, they need to make a whole TV show out of it.
They should wait until there's enough episodes to make a season.
But sometimes you're waiting, what?
Then you should be waiting. You should
years
be waiting,
and years. Man. But that's not how marketing and
sales
stuff works.
I don't care.
Well, you're being selfish.
All right, let's spin the wheel for...
Wait, well, no, not yet.
We're done.
Did you give it a rating?
Yeah, well, I said right around yours.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It's probably the same. We're pretty even on that.
All right, let's spin the wheel and see what crappy thing we're getting next week.
There's a lot of P's.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, yay.
You had to say something.
Please, teacher is what we just got.
Yeah, please.
I've seen pieces of it. It's pretty terrible. So we're going to watch that.
Awesome.
We'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, see you later. Bye.